The credit score mistakes most Americans don't know they're making. You probably think you have one credit score. One number. One clean answer. But in America, that's already the first mistake. The CFPB says you don't have just one credit score. Your number can change depending on the scoring model, the credit bureau, and even the day it was calculated. So if your score suddenly drops, the real question is not, what's my number? It's this, what behavior or what error just moved the system against me? And that matters more than most people realize, because credit scores don't just sit in an APP and look pretty. They can shape whether you get approved, how expensive your borrowing becomes, and how much leverage you have when life suddenly gets expensive. So what actually tanks a credit score in the United States? And which credit tips are just expensive myths? Start with the thing that does the most damage, missing payments. FICO says payment history is the biggest part of the score, about 35%. Late payments are typically reported in stages, 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, and worse. Negative payment history can stay on a credit report for up to 7 years. But that doesn't mean one mistake condemns you forever. FICO also says a few late payments are not automatically a permanent score killer. That is especially true if the rest of your history is strong and you get current and stay current. In other words, the worst move after falling behind is panic. The best move is to get current fast and stop the bleeding. Now, here's where a lot of people make the second mistake. They get denied once, then start firing applications everywhere. New card. New lender. Another lender. Another lender. That can hurt because hard inquiries matter, and credit scoring models look at how recently and how frequently you apply for new credit. But there's an important twist. Shopping around for the same kind of loan is not the same as randomly chasing approvals. The CFPB says that for many scoring models, auto, student, and mortgage inquiries made within a short window, often 14 to 45 days, are generally treated as a single inquiry. So smart rate shopping is not your enemy. Desperation clicking applications for everything is. The third mistake is one of the most expensive myths in personal finance, carrying a balance to build credit. That sounds responsible. It sounds mature. It is also wrong. My FICO says carrying a balance from month to month does not increase your FICO scores. The CFPB says paying off your credit card balance every month can help improve your score. What really matters is how much of your available credit you're using. If you keep running close to the limit, the scoring system reads that as stress. And if you close an old card while keeping the same balances, you can make things worse by pushing your credit utilization ratio higher. So no, paying interest is not a credit building strategy. It's just an expensive misunderstanding. That leads to another uncomfortable truth. Having no debt is not the same as having strong credit. In fact, for many Americans, no usable credit history is the problem. In its corrected 2025 report, the CFPB estimated that in 2020, about 2.7% of US adults, roughly 7 million people, were credit invisible, meaning they had no credit record. Another 9.8% had a credit record, but were still unscored. That means millions of people are not being judged as low-risk borrowers. They're barely being scored at all. So if someone says, "I never borrow, so why is my score weak?" The answer may be simple: the system has too little payment history to trust you yet. So what do you do if you're invisible, thin file, or rebuilding? The CFPB points to tools like secured credit cards and credit builder loans. A secured card is not magic. It's basically training wheels. You put down cash, use the card lightly, and pay on time. But there's one detail people miss: ask whether the issuer reports to the major credit bureaus. If it doesn't report, you may be doing the work without getting the credit history. The point is not to borrow big. The point is to create clean, repeatable proof that you pay as agreed. And now we get to the part almost nobody talks about enough. Sometimes your score falls because the file itself is wrong. Not because you became irresponsible, because the data is broken, mixed up, or badly handled. Americans can get free weekly credit reports from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion through annualcreditreport.com. Checking your own report does not hurt your score. If you find an error, the CFPB says you should dispute it with the credit reporting company and with the furnisher that supplied the information. Those disputes generally have to be investigated within 30 days. Why does that matter so much? Because this is not some fringe problem. The CFPB reported that from January 2024 through June 2025, it received more than 5.6 million complaints. Almost 4.8 million of them were about credit and consumer reporting. Then came a stunning enforcement action. In 2025, the CFPB said Equifax ignored consumer documents and allowed previously deleted inaccuracies to be reinserted. It also sent confusing results letters and used flawed software code that led to inaccurate credit scores. Think about that. A number that affects your borrowing power can move not only because of your choices, but because of bad data and bad systems. That should change how every American thinks about the phrase, "My score dropped for no reason." Sometimes there is a reason. It's just not always yours. So the real lesson is bigger than any one hack. Protect the score the boring way. Pay on time. Keep balances low. Don't spray applications everywhere. Don't carry balances thinking interest buys you credibility. Don't close cards blindly right before a major application. And if your file is thin, build history on purpose instead of waiting for the system to guess who you are. Most of all, read your reports before a lender reads them for you. Because once you see how this system really works, the biggest credit score mistake is no longer late payment, high utilization, or too many applications. It's believing the score is always fair, always simple, and always telling the whole truth. If checking your own report is free and harmless, why do so many people wait until a rejection letter to find out what's really in their file?